Uh-oh, where are the chicks? Well, they are growing and growing. 5 weeks old tomorrow, and they are just about grown out of this box. So it was moving day. Set up the next sized brooder made out of an old baby gate system with a cardboard insert in the center to hold all those shavings in. And they're nestled. It was a rough moving day this morning, but they are doing just fine. So let's talk about their growth and their development in the next stage of their journey to becoming my next batch of layer hens. A couple new additions that these girls need as they start growing. I've provided them with a couple roosts. They had a couple roosts in their old one, which they totally enjoyed hopping up on. I don't want them to become bored, and since they were getting pretty big for their small enclosure, I didn't want any bad behavior developing because they were antsy and struggling for room and being generally bored. So this will provide them with more space. Now, at about 4 and 5 weeks of age, their flight feathers and their wings are getting stronger, and they're testing them out. So it's very important to have some kind of either a wire mesh. This is an old screen from some old windows, because they will fly out of this. And I have already had a couple, as I'm changing and adding more shavings and stuff, fly out or fly up to the top of the other one. So this is important. Now it's important to start introducing them to their outside environment. And I am introducing a little grass. They're a little nervous about this. They haven't had grass before. I do give them treats. They've had scrambled eggs. They've had cucumbers. They'll eat right from my hand. And as I said in the last one, I think that's a very good thing, that you get them used to human contact, especially if you have a small flock and you're going to tend it very personally. So I'm introducing them to some tender shoots of grass. Let's see if anybody comes over and gets curious about it. Now, another thing, if you're starting to introduce different kinds of foods, chickens and all birds have what is a crop, which holds their food, and it has a gizzard that grinds the food. They need help, and naturally they will eat little stones and things that will stay in their crops and then in their gizzards and help them grind up these foods. So it's important at about 2 weeks I start introducing grit to them. And that little one right there, well, she was picking at some grit that I sprinkle on the box. And I also sprinkle a little grit into their food. So they're getting a little bit of that introduced. Also, to keep them amused, I'm going to, probably in the next day, is go dig up a clod of dirt with a little grass on it and put it in there, and in that way they are introduced to the soil and the bacteria and things that they are going to encounter daily in their lives as they grow up around our place here. So little by little, they're becoming accustomed to a more adult way of life. As you can see, they're quite active. Okay, here's a Rhode Island Red. And we really want to start thinking about when they're going to be able to go outside. She's got a lot of permanent feathers here. She's lost most of the down on her head. And I want to pull out her wing just a bit. See how her feathers have come in? You've got lots of fully formed, mature feathers coming in. You can see a little bit of the down still within these feathers. So I wouldn't say she's totally fully feathered. You can see a lot of these small feathers, new ones still coming in here. She is getting a nice grouping of tail feathers, so she is maturing very nicely. The weather here, the temperatures are still in the 40s to the upper 50s in the evenings. Occasionally we have been getting a 60-degree day, but not too often. If they do go out of the house into an outside brooder, and I may be giving them a little bit nighttime supplemental heat. But they're going to stay in this new brooder for a week, I think, maybe a week to 10 days. We'll put her back. She seems a wee bit stressed. There you go, Judy. Okay. Whee! Here we have a pretty barred rock. And she has a little bit of down still around her head. Look, you can see her comb starting to come in around her head. Gently pull out her wing. Beautiful barring on her wing. Feathers growing in very nicely. You can see, oh, hold still. That's a good girl. She's a little bit more feathered than the Rhode Island Red. She's got some nice tail feathers coming in. She's doing very well. Her legs are feathering out very nicely. And she could possibly, within the week, I would say that she could go outside with a little supplemental heat in the evenings. So we're going to be taking you along with us as we transition these girls to outdoor living. Time for your close-up. This is a buff Brahma, and one characteristic is this beautiful collaring that they have of bicolored feathers, and their bodies are mostly the buff color and the buff on the head. So she is lost most of her down on her head. Her wings are absolutely gorgeous, but you can see there's lots of little feathers yet to grow in further in the under coatings of her. She's got a nice tail. She's got the she's got the prettiest feet. Look at those fluffy feathered feet. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, she doesn't like heights, I guess. By this age, a lot of people are putting their chicks outside. But it's a combination of outside temperatures and whether the bird itself is ready to go out. I'm going to opt to keep them in at least another week. Introducing them, I think, is very important to the soil and other outdoor things they may encounter. I may take them out and let them roam in the grass with a watchful eye for, 15, 30 minutes a day in the sunshine. Get them more used to their coming up outdoor life. All right, one more breed that we have. This is a black copper Moran, and she's feathering out very nicely. Oh, and she's feisty. She's one that likes to roost and has, at times, twice as a matter of fact, hopped out of the brooder. So she's very, very active, very flighty, and she's very cute. Developing a little comb already, still a little down on her neck. You can see that there. And probably a little bit on her breast. So, and she even has a feather or two on her foot. So you can see a couple of the pin feathers right there. Pin feathers are new feathers that are coming out. Very good. Hi, this is Minty, my black copper Moran, and she doesn't have all of her true colors yet, but they're getting there. She'll get there. At 5.5 weeks, she's still got a ways to go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Share on your social media platforms. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I appreciate that. And click the notification bell so you'll know when the next video starring my little Minty is posted. So, thanks for following, and thanks for coming to Blue Heron Hill, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.